if you look into the competitors of this motorcycle, we have mainly two scramblers in the market now. One is the SD Scrambler and the Royal Enfield Scrambler. So let's take the Royal Enfield Scrambler. So the reason... What's up YouTube? Today we have the Triumph Scrambler 400XC, the long awaited motorcycle on this channel, and I got a decent chance to ride this motorcycle for almost a week thanks to my viewers who are now supporting me with motorcycles. So this is the detailed review of this, the 400XC. I have ridden the 400X a year back in Pune, and I was very much impressed in the way it was handling, and we were actually asking for the XC variant, the more off-road centric variant of the Scrambler from Triumph, and here we have it today. So let's look at this motorcycle a little closer and understand, is it really a Scrambler? Is it really doing the justice to the XC tag? And yeah, general updates on this motorcycle, like how you feel of riding it and all the stuff, and of course when we take it to the off-roads as well as on the highway. So this actually puts out a really good Scrambler look, I have to admit that, with a small visor, the beak, and yeah, of course the tubeless spoke wheels. It really gives a massive Scrambler look, and also it comes with a longer travel suspension in the front, and there we get the same engine, the Scrambler 400, get the same Speed 400 engine, the same power and torque from the Speed 400, so there is not much change. And we get the Scrambler exhaust on this one, again no change. The seat is actually very wide, I like it. It is a roomy seat. You can actually sit over here and push back in case. The pillion seat is little smaller, but still understandable, it is okay. Scrambler is actually that kind of motorcycle where you want to take it anywhere, and also you will be able to modify your motorcycle for your use. So in other words, we can say that Scrambler is a road bike which, if you want to take it to the off-road, you can do that. It's like an adjustable thing, you know. And Scramblers are not the fastest on the track, so light trail riding, and more of a guy that who doesn't have a plan and go out for a ride. That's the feel of a Scrambler. By the way, personally I own a Ducati Scrambler Desert Sled, which is one of the beautiful motorcycles I've ever ridden now, and that is one reason why I felt that I need to buy that bike. And yeah, this has got an aftermarket handguard, which is good actually. You need it when you go out for trail riding. And looking from the back as well, it looks really nice, man. So this has done a tail tidy, looks massive, looks, I mean, puts out a really good Scrambler feel. So let's go closer to the bike. So before that, let's see what are the differences that we see with the Scrambler 400X and the Scrambler 400XC. So in this one, you get an aluminum sum guard over there, you get tubeless spoke wheels, and you have a beak, and you have the visor and a different paint scheme, and this adds up 5 kg to the overall weight of the Scrambler. So that's the difference. I expected a little more updates on the suspension, but it didn't happen. But anyway, let's see whether this is really a purposeful Scrambler or not. By the way, 835 mm seat height, that means a bit taller bike, but manageable, you know. The seat is not so much wide towards the front, so that's the reason why it's not too wide. But the fit and finish, the quality of these motorcycles are really good. I really appreciate the fact that Triumph is actually making sure that these 400cc is also in par with the bigger bikes. So on the handlebars, we will see the pass switch over here, the high beam and the low beam, I button, info button to walk through all these things over there, and the indicator and the horn. And on this side we have the kill switch, the caution lamp, and the ignition. We have pretty much basic dash, which I like it, but it doesn't pack too much of information. So gear position indicator, fuel level indicator, tachometer, and we have switchable traction control on this one. We have the odometer, 2 trip meters, average mileage, distance to empty, and the traction control. And there is an off-road mode as well, so it can turn off the rear ABS as well. So that's pretty much it. So let's hear the sound of the bike. Sounds good. So let's go out for the ride. So we'll start with the U-turn. So even though it's around 180 plus kg motorcycle, it's not a big deal to take a U-turn, and also it has got a very good turning radius. As you see, you'll be able to take a turn like that pretty easily, and you get a bigger riding stance, in the sense you get a taller riding stance. You could see the road from a different angle itself, and the riding posture is relaxed, much comfortable, you see that. And the bike is bloody hell stable, man. Look at that. I mean, it's really stable by itself, so you don't have to put a lot of effort to make the motorcycle stable. And the power, let's see that. It's the same 400cc engine. It really feels that this engine is actually tuned for the mid-range performance, and you get it. And also we have very good decent bottom end torque. The maximum speed that I've done on the bike is somewhat like 160 km/h, which is very good. During those speeds I never faced any stability issue out of the motorcycle, but the climb was very gradual, and I believe that we'll be able to even do a 170 or 180 if we get a very long stretch of road. But totally I'll say that the engine feedback is good. The gear ratios feels longer. You get that sweeping feel all the way from every gear, and the throttling is also good, very accurate throttling. The suspension is actually a long travel suspension, which is good for off-roads as well as city rides where you have a lot of broken patches. So in my opinion, I'll say that the suspension is set onto a softer side. So on this motorcycle, the owner has tightened the rear suspension a little harder, just to get a little more feedback when you go out on the highway. So in my opinion, I'll say that this suspension is actually giving a lot of comfort on bad roads as well as on the highways. But when it comes to off-roading, I'll say that the suspension needs a little more improvement. You know, very soon you will start hitting the fact that you are not able to do the same jump that you can do with a Scram 411 or Scram 440 or even the Himalayan. So this is not a proper off-roading motorcycle, but still when you showcase it as the Scrambler, I believe that there is a little more scope to improve on the suspension. And the braking feeling is good. I like it in the sense you have a very progressive braking, which you need when you do these kind of Scrambler things. The one thing which I see with this motorcycle when I take it out on the highway is that I feel so much relaxed to ride this motorcycle. I don't feel like pushing it, because you know, we can be in the legal speeds, the 100 to 120. I mean, not on this highway, but we have other highways which can have a legal speed of 120. And the point is, we can actually stick to that speed and feel so much comfortable. The suspension really holding on to it, and you get a really nice cruising feel, because you know, this wind visor is giving a protection until a speed of I think around 90 to 100, and after that you have to push a little back and then have a comfortable seat, and you'll be able to comfortably cruise for like 1 to 1.5 hours, and then you can take a break. So when it comes to the ownership of the motorcycle, this costs around 2.9 lakhs ex-showroom and goes up to 3.6 lakhs on road. In my opinion, I'll say that it's a quality equipment, so you cannot really say that it's an expensive buy, but you know, you have other options in the Scrambler segment. But still, I'll say that with this kind of a quality, with this kind of an approach to the motorcycle, I'll say that yeah, this is a decent pricing, and it's around 27k more than the normal Scrambler 400X. But what you get is the spoke wheel, but rest of the things are cosmetic. I don't really say that you get a lot out of it. And mileage wise, I'll say you get fuel efficiency of 25 km/L in and around, and it all depends on how hard you ride and all those things. I was hearing from the Speed 400 owners that sometimes some people were getting as low as 20 km/L when they go out on highway, and they'll be building it at 140 and 160. That could be the reason. And there are people who get 35 as well, so it's much debatable. It depends on how you ride. So the engine is responsive, and the fuel efficiency is also kind of changing based on your riding character. And the motorcycle actually goes for service once in 10,000 kilometers. You can expect a bill of around 3k to 5k depending on your parts change and all. And if we look into the competitors of this motorcycle, we have mainly two Scramblers in the market now. One is the SD Scrambler and the Royal Enfield Scrambler. So let's take the Royal Enfield Scrambler. So the recent Scrambler 440, the Royal Enfield 440 feels more promising. So if you have to compare that motorcycle with this one, I'll say that the Triumph got the quality, no doubt about that, but the Royal Enfield has got a little more off-road centric way of approaching the Scrambler. So if you want to do more trail riding and get used to that riding feel of going out in these kind of things with your Scrambler, then I would suggest the Royal Enfield Scrambler. But you know, if you want a little more hassle free and more premium experience, the Triumph Scrambler is the answer. By the way, both the motorcycles get the 19-inch 17-inch setup tire, so you don't have to worry about it. And on this one I'll say that the stock tire is not so good. Maybe you have to switch it to better, a bit more 50-50 tire to ride well. And when it comes to the SD Scrambler, I'll say that it's a namesake Scrambler. The suspension is really bad on that motorcycle when I rode it last time. So I'll say that in every manner, be the quality or the way the motorcycle handle and reacts, and the suspension, the braking, I'll say that except the fact that the SD Scrambler looks much better in terms of a Scrambler, I'll say that the Triumph Scrambler is a very purposeful Scrambler. So let's look at each of the section where this motorcycle belongs to. So if you're planning to look forward for a city riding motorcycle, definitely this will be a very nice pick. As I said, you get a lot of attention in the city. It looks like a true Scrambler, so it looks new, it looks very premium, and also it rides premium, that you can feel it. Be it bad roads or taller humps, you will be able to really take it through that kind of a stuff. And even when you ride it inside the traffic, there is not much heating issue. It is there, but there is not much heating issue where the bike shut down by itself and you don't have any ground clearance problems. U-turn is easy. So it's an easy going motorcycle inside city. You just have to get used to this kind of a taller riding stance, that's all. And when it comes to highways like this, you can do a 120 or a 140 with your pillion, and you can have a little bit of saddlebag and things tied over there in the back. So I'll say that it's a good highway bike as well. And when it goes to the off-roads, I'll expect a little more feedback from the suspension, or we could have adjustable suspension in this segment, because Triumph has did that first step of making the true Scrambler. So a Scrambler needs an adjustable suspension in my opinion, because Scramblers are all about you taking your bike in the way you want. So the suspension is the first thing that you want, which has the adjustability. So I would say in that manner the suspension could have been a little more better when it goes to off-roads. And yeah, obviously the tires, the stock tires are not good, so we can switch it up to something better. And rest of the things feels fine. The ergonomics is fine, the handlebar is wide, you can stand on the foot peg and ride it. You see that? It's perfectly fine to do that on this bike. And the foot peg position is also good, where when you stand you don't really touch unnecessary parts of the motorcycle. So in that way I'll say it is good. So in my opinion, I'll say that if you are looking for an all-rounder motorcycle, a good quality, great motorcycle on the looks perspective, then I'll say really a good bike. Oh, we have an open road. A little bit of vibration when I do the red line, but it climbs speeds faster. You can see that vibration in the needle. Yeah, the max speed is 160 km/h, and during the top end we get a feel that there are a lot of vibration, but otherwise it's much comfortable to ride. The motorcycle actually shows a little bit of stress in the red lines, that's all. So I was telling that, yeah, if you are looking for a very good looking motorcycle for your Scrambler use and you want to take it anywhere, a great motorcycle. Couple of things which I didn't like with the motorcycle is obviously the tires, and the braking could have been a little better. I won't say that it is bad, but still I'm being greedy over here. But suspension is one thing which could have been a little more improved. The service network of Triumph is a bit bad. So whoever I'm talking to, they are telling that okay, there are service issues. So I'm just bringing this up so that Triumph will fix it on the way. That when I buy this motorcycle for around 3.8 lakh on road, I expect a premium service out of them. So in that manner, I'll say that some of the service centers are not good, but some are good. That's what I heard. So that's my general take on the Scrambler 400XE. If you want to know any more details on this motorcycle, do let me know in the comment section. I hope this video is helpful for you, and as always, show some love in the form of likes and comments. See you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.